Welcome to A2Newtech. Hope you guys are surviving the weather okay. It's pretty hot out there. Also parking and traffic, and it's going to get crazy this week, so just warning, there's like no parking signs all over the place. Yeah, that's a good option. I just bought a bike the other week, but this is not a stand-up act, so I'm going to get started. I'll wait until later. You can all come and see my stand-up routine. So this is A2Newtech. We have 5 presenters today. They're each going to talk for 5 minutes, and I'm going to time them using my laptop. So presenters, I'll turn that over so you can actually see your time. 5 minutes to present, and then each presenter gets 5 minutes for Q&A. That's the time when you guys get to ask questions. So anyone from the audience can ask a question of the presenter. Ask them hard questions that are relevant to their business, help them either improve or, really improve.
And press the button on the microphone near you so we can get it on tape.
So yeah, in front of you there should be a black box thing with a button on it. So just hold that down when you're talking.
Yeah, if they're stolen like this one is, you have to borrow one behind you or something.
All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for coming.
Is there a mic or?
No, just talk loud.
Okay, fair enough.
Who is this?
John Umbaugh.
All right, so my name is John Umbaugh, and I'm with CareEvolution, and we make a health information exchange software platform. So what is exchange? Well, let me tell you a story. Maybe you go on vacation, maybe it's across states, and you get sick and you go to the local clinic. And the doc there maybe makes some observations, gives you a prescription, and sends you on your way. A few days later you come back to Ann Arbor, and you're feeling really ill now. So you go into the hospital and they admit you. You traverse through various settings of care within the hospital, and you consume various services within the hospital until finally you're discharged and you continue care at a specialty clinic as an outpatient. Now, this is a fairly standard medical episode. However, we are coming into contact with no fewer than 3 distinct healthcare facilities, and underlying that is a multitude of various services and care settings. Now, there's an opportunity here. Healthcare facilities have their own electronic medical record systems, and each of those have its own data store. Rarely is there exchange between the different data stores, the different systems. However, there's a great deal of value in accessing the data in a coupled fashion from the different clinical data silos. And that is where health information exchanges like CareEvolution come into play. This is an example of one of our applications, a longitudinal summary. Longitudinal in time, it's cross-facility, and it identifies many or all of the diagnoses, providers, procedures, medications, so on and so forth, within that given time span. Very compelling application, but it's not our only application. Some of the new applications that I'm really excited about include a patient portal. So I, as a patient, would log in to see all of the medical events that have happened to me cross-facility and better self-manage my care. There's the clinical inbox. So visually, this looks like an email inbox, but it summarizes and clarifies provider workflow. An example, maybe I order a lab result for one of my patients a couple days ago. The minute those results become online, when they become available, my clinical inbox would be populated with an item that would provide the context for me to interpret that and remind me to have a conversation with that patient. A retrospective analytics platform. So a healthcare system can identify, using data mining within our application, what they can do to get better patient outcomes and articulate a vision around that. And also a prospective analytics platform. This might be something like generating patient lists and all the patients, for all the patients for which there's something actionable to attain that goal. Now, this is a critical time for health information technology because of pieces of legislation like the High-Tech Act and payment reform, the disincentives for facilities to share data are disappearing, which is great for vendors like CareEvolution. The demand for our stack is going through the roof. We have a number of customers, and I think there are 4 general buckets of customers. Maybe for this crowd, the most prominent are the states. CareEvolution is responsible for the statewide implementation of health information exchanges for 7 states. This is a screenshot from the Chillmark report by John Moore. He's the author, released about 6 days ago. And in terms of technical capability, CareEvolution was rated the highest compared to all the other competitors in his view. And he is the foremost analyst in the HIE industry. So this is all to sell you on CareEvolution as a potential employment option. Basically, we're looking for 3, if you satisfy 2 of the 3 following things, strong programming, clinical expertise, spirit of entrepreneurship, I would like you to talk to me. You don't have to be in Ann Arbor to work at CareEvolution. Fully 1/3 of us are outside of the state of Michigan, and that's fine. It's a fun place. There's still that small atmosphere, again, around 40 people. I know every one of them. I like every one of them, which is, unfortunately, I can't say that about other places I've worked. Passion, the problems are real. There's great satisfaction in solving those problems, and it's fun. And you can contact me, Umbaugh at CareEvolution.com, or various other ways. Please come talk to me.
All right, question.
Do I choose or?
Go ahead.
All right, I think you were first.
Can you tell me a bit more about your team? Who's all involved on it?
Sure. It's a unique team because they're all technical folks. So around 40 people, 36 of them are developers. Maybe 3 are clinical experts, including 2 with MDs, and then we have a healthcare economist, a prof at the University of Michigan, who helps with things like the retrospective analytics. So does that answer your question?
Who's been in this sort of business before? Because you use the term I would be using this service, so I'm assuming you're a doctor.
No, I'm a programmer.
So who's your customers, and where are you getting the input to build this thing from?
Sure. So, maybe states have financial incentives to set up statewide exchanges.
Yeah, I understand that.
Sometimes, so the state of West Virginia, for example, has its own entity appointed by the government.
Yeah.
They have funds which they give to us. There's financial incentives for the different hospitals and clinics within West Virginia to participate. So they send us data feeds from their EMRs, for example, or maybe the state Medicaid data, or biosurveillance, or any possible clinical data source.
What about? I'll back off.
Maybe we could
Yes.
talk offline. Yeah.
You say you need programmers. What's your stack?
Well, so this is an interesting point for me. We are a .NET shop, I guess technically. We are, the core is. But, some people are put off by the notion of working for a .NET shop. If you're one of those people, maybe CareEvolution isn't the right place for you. If you know nothing about .NET, but you are passionate and have those core fundamentals, things like object-oriented design, knowledge of design patterns, these types of things, please come talk to me. So a little bit more about the stack. There's the core services, which expose a set of Windows services. There are Windows services and web services. You saw the flavor of client that you saw was the web client, but we can and do have other clients that consume those web services, including, for example, potential mobile apps or standalone apps. Anything specific you?
No, you answered the question right away.
Okay.
When I was in high school, I worked for a pediatrician, and my job was pretty much your software. What I did was I got documents from other doctors, scanned them into their electronic medical records, and when they needed to send it somewhere, I printed the documents out that I had scanned and put them in the mail. So they already had their electronic medical records, but if they want to be able to talk electronically between other places, how easily do you replace my high school job?
Well, there's some fundamental things with, that's a workflow issue. Probably. I mean, docs are used to receiving faxes and dealing with that.
It's also a standards issue, just because we had patients from all over the place because we accepted pretty much every insurance under the sun, and just some random third-party doctor that does outpatient stuff doesn't support our system.
So, I'm sorry, could you restate the
So
question?
this is the standards. We can't send them electronic documents because we don't know what system they're using.
Well, I mean, you have to, support some standards, something like HL7, some of the IHE profiles. It makes sense for some practices not to do that, like retiring docs. Those financial incentives aren't compelling enough for them to move to that. For a lot of other places, they are sufficient because they're early in their practice, so they will move to these types of things. Maybe get someone over here. Yes.
Yeah, so my impression early on with the HIE, the organizations that are your customers, seemed like a lot of them were getting started, kind of in response to the government stimulus programs and short-term grants and things like that, but there's been an issue with kind of a sustainable business model for those kind of organizations that do this exchange. I'm wondering what your impression is of are people turning the corner on getting sustainable business models for the exchanges that are your customer?
Well, I think largely that's not been resolved yet because the Medicaid incentives are, well, I think they'll last for a long time. But a lot of our customers are interested in like an ACO model, an accountable care organization, where they want to drive down the prices. So that is their, maybe they're not swayed by the Medicaid notion directly, but they want to drive down their costs, eliminate waste. They can do that with our platform, and generally speaking, those cost savings align with better patient outcomes. Yeah, it could be.
All right, that's all the time we have for questions for this presenter, but if you have questions, leave me around later.
Yeah, or is there like an event after this event?
Yeah. Where do people want to go? We have Pizza House or we have Dominic's. Let's do. So Dominic's is outside. It's a little hot, but they have cool beverages. Let's do a vote. Who's for Pizza House?
AC.
What? AC? AC's good. Who's for Dominic's? Oh wow, we got half and half. All right, let's. Go where you want. How about that? Dominic's or Pizza House?
Dominic's is closer.
Well, I'll be where the majority are, I guess.
I'll be at Pizza House. All right, next presenter get set up. What? Oh, it's good. 2000. All right, so while our next presenter is getting set up, we'll be going to Pizza House, or if you want to go to Dominic's as well, either way. I'll be going to Pizza House because they have AC and it's hot outside. Both have alcoholic beverages. Both have food, pizza. So, kind of a toss-up. Dominic's is a little closer though. So last time somebody mentioned that I didn't introduce myself, so maybe I should do that this time. My name's Kyle Molka. I've been living in Ann Arbor for a long time. I went to undergrad here. I spent a couple years in Seattle, and then I came back to do startups. So I've been working on kind of startup projects for the last 4 years. My current startup, it just launched a couple weeks ago. It's called tchat.io, and hopefully I'll get to present that later at one of these. I've also done a little bit of work with AppKey and Alpha Django, if you know those guys. You ready? All right, so one of the other things we do at A2Newtech is community announcements. So if any of you guys have an event to announce, like something entrepreneurial or startup, technology focused, let us know. So if anyone has...
I got one.
Okay.
Hey, I'm with A2Newtech, based out in Detroit, and there's an event coming up on August 7th. We're pretty much a spin-off of A2. Doug actually gave his permission for us to do something like this out in Detroit. So we basically have an event called Best Shot Detroit, and it's going to be at the Detroit Opera House on August 7th from 6 to 9. 10 companies, 10 startups going to be able to pitch for 4 minutes, a sales pitch, and out of those 10, 3 judges would select the winner. The winner will have I think cash as well as free startup services, and free food and free open bar. We do just go to DNewtech, DNEWTECH.org, and it's a.
We can't compete with a free open bar. The Michigan I-Corps program coming in at the end of September is devoted to healthcare IT. If you're involved in a project that has anything to do with digital health, healthcare IT, anything in that space, you can get help on regulatory issues, you can get in the program, and we're going to have 20-some teams in. We have a cohort now, and I'm proud to say that somebody from here is in the cohort going on right now, so thank you. But we're going to need mentors. We're going to need people who are experienced in IT startups. So if you have any interest in that, let us know or participate in the program. And you can go to michiganicorps.com, www.michiganicorps.com. And I'm Norm, and I'll be there on the email. And Kyle knows where to find me. But it's an exciting program. It can be really valuable for you if you want to be a mentor or a participant. And we're desperate to have community teams. It's not just university teams. So thank you for that.
Cool. Good. I get one, Kyle. Let's do it after this one.
Hello everyone, my name is David Lin. I am the co-founder and CEO of FlockTag. Many of you have probably used FlockTag around Ann Arbor, and I'm here to show you that we're much more than just a universal loyalty program that many of you probably are familiar with us. We actually view ourselves more as a smart promotion engine for small businesses. And what that means is that we match the right promotion or deal with the right kind of customer. And what that means to the vendors is that we maximize their promotional yield. They actually make money from our promotions rather than lose money, which is very common with these kinds of things. Because we all are familiar with what discounting is all about, and the big problem with it is that it's all blanket style deals, meaning that anyone has access to anything and everything, one use it once or a million times, right? And they're fairly stupid. In today's day and age with technology, there's so much more that you can do with digital media than you can ever done before. You know, now, whereas in the past, you have no idea who is using these things. You have no idea if they're buying more because they got this promotion. You have no idea if they're coming more often because of the promotion you just gave them. And the most important thing of all is that you have no idea as a vendor whether or not you actually made money by giving out this coupon or whatever, whether it's through Groupon, coupon books like Campus Special or Michigan Daily, etc. And whenever these vendors, you know, whether it's Espresso Royale or Bubble Island, etc., does a high value deal, let's say one of them were to do a Groupon, and we all know what Groupons are. What happens with these blanket style deals is that they get used a lot and they get abused a lot. The people that go to these businesses already buy them in mass and cannibalizes their sales. Like in this example, 75% that we've been able to measure of their sales are cannibalized because of these high value promotions, blanket style promotions. What FlockTag is able to do is to limit the abuse to around 15%. And the way that we deliver and distribute and design these deals, we're able to measure benefit for our vendors, where we cause a customer to come 25% more than they would have, ordinarily, and in some cases up to 50% more. And we can do all of this because we are using real-world buying behavior data to design and deliver everything. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Oh, sorry, my computer's so jacked. So let's say that here's a picture of Adrian, right? And the animations are gone, so I apologize. But Adrian, in this simple example, goes to this coffee shop. And let's say he goes there once or twice a month. Now this coffee shop thinks to itself, shoot man, this guy is only coming once or twice a month. I want to get him to come more often. So I'm going to give him a 50% off coffee deal that I'm going to deliver directly to his phone. And when he sees this and redeems this, we know from our history in doing this that when Adrian redeems this deal, he is 80% prone to come more often than he would have otherwise, just because of that deal alone, right? We put it in his mind, we remind him that this coffee shop exists, and we give him a great feeling when he saves some money. At the same time, this pizza shop, which he ordinarily ignores, it's right next door to this coffee shop, wants a pizza back as well. So this pizza shop, through FlockTag, is able to deliver a free pizza deal that we deliver to his device. And we know from our experience that when he redeems this free pizza deal, he is 50 to 60% more likely to come and actually pay full price for a meal at this pizza place. So the net effect, because of FlockTag, the coffee shop is able to engage Adrian more, to retain him as a customer, and this pizza shop is able to attract a brand new customer that they would have never been able to do otherwise, at a very cost-effective rates. And this is how we do it. On the very left, you can see the FlockTag system, which if you've used it before, is a replacement for those paper punch cards that you might see in any number of businesses all over the place. Buy 10 X, get Y free. So we've replaced it with this digital NFC-based card that works everywhere that FlockTag can be used. And it goes up in the cloud, we use our analytics, and we deliver everything. Right now, we've been growing. We're in 140 places across the Midwest, 120,000 users that have used the system over 1 million times. We're pretty happy with how things are going. We think our success is based off of our relevance because we know, in many cases, we know what you want more than you might think you want. And I'll just tie this up real quick. We've raised that money and we're off and running. So I kind of whizzed through there. So you guys have any questions? Cool. Thanks. So that's kind of it. Sorry about that.
So, interesting stuff. Super crowded space and lots of people getting into mobile payments and kind of integrating loyalty with it. How do you guys, how are you dealing with that? And what's your plan with the amount of mobile apps going on and your approach both to the card, sort of kind of trying to go with something that...
That's a great question. A lot of people have asked us that question, and it's all about being relevant. If you are relevant to your cardholders, they will use your system. If your system is used, vendors will continue to use your system. If you look at the vast array of options that are out there that you've mentioned, kind of a few of them, and you were to see what their usership is like, FlockTag is looking at 4 to 5 times more users per business than anyone else out there. And it's because once you use FlockTag, you are more prone to continue to use it than any other system that has been out in the press to date.
When do you anticipate positive cash flow?
Positive cash flow is probably a good 2 years out. We just raised $1.5 million in the last few months. We'll be raising another round later on this year and the next year, and we'll see what happens.
What's your biggest need, or I should say, what's the one thing that's preventing you guys from becoming a rock star success?
The biggest need is time. Honestly, to do these algorithms and to develop these tools it takes time. You can't just throw $1 million and expect this thing to come out the other end a week later. You have to take time to do test after test after test to develop these things. I think right now we're probably on step 3 of 20 in terms of how effective we can get these deals and these algorithms to be. And with that, it's going to be higher profitability, like you mentioned.
So first there were punch cards, now there's the actual electronic card. But why do you still have the card if you can just use your phone? Is there a reason that the card still exists?
Yeah, because in this world, in the quick service restaurant world, you have a whole range of operators. You got people that are immigrants from other countries, you have people who are retired execs. You have to do something that's fairly incremental, or they're not going to embrace it. At the same time, the card that we chose, the NFC-based card, the technology is quicker and faster than any of the other technologies you can choose, whether it's QR code or barcode. You don't need to take it out of your wallet, just scan your wallet, mix it up. And that was the main reason why we chose it, for speed, reliability, etc. Yeah.
Do you have any insight into where your target customers are shifting their dollars away to invest in this? Is it, coupons? Is it email marketing providers?
So, we kind of how the first question was. There's a lot of different options for people to choose from. And I think to answer your question, it just depends on the vendor. If you are a immigrant from Italy or China who might not understand what this technology is because you haven't been educated, you might not want to touch it. But on the other end of the spectrum, you got people that are in their 20s opening small businesses that are grabbing every bit of technology they can get their hands on. So it depends on the person. Yeah.
What's your growth rate in customers and usage?
I'm sorry?
Your growth rate in customers and usage.
In customers and usage.
Right.
So how many customers are we?
If you had 10 customers last month and you have 100, that's the delta I'm looking for.
Gotcha.
As well as users.
Absolutely. Okay, so we are on a seasonally adjusted uptick in all that stuff. Since we are mainly college towns.
Give me some numbers. Give me a sense of numbers, of quantity here.
We have been operating at the rate that we are now for about 9 months. In that 9 months, we've grown our footprint to 140 locations and 120,000 users, if that helps, over a 9-month period.
Are they subscribers?
The businesses pay us a subscription fee. The cardholders do not. It's a free system. Yeah. The cardholders do pay us in certain cases when we offer them a smart Groupon type deal where only they are eligible to purchase it. So that's how we can make money.
How are you selling it to the merchants?
Selling it to merchants is how you would think it would be. Yeah. It's how you would think it is. It's not the easiest, it's not the funnest. You have to leverage networks, you have to leverage relationships. Not relationships that I have, but relationships that exist out in the field. All the businesses know each other. If you deliver value to one user or one business, it propagates across the community. And that's kind of how we do it.
Okay, that's all the time we have for questions. If you have more, you'll be available afterwards?
Sure. Yep.
Sounds great. While Ben's getting set up, we'll continue community announcements. I know you had one.
My name is Bob Allen. For the software developers that are here, there's a monthly, all-day code retreat starting next month on the 10th. If you know where the Tech Brewery is, downstairs from there is called The Forge. That's where it'll be on the second Saturday of any given month. You get fed both breakfast and lunch. It's hands-on keyboards, no talking heads, and no recruiters. So come and enjoy. It's free.
Okay. Any other community announcements?
Just to remind everybody, in case they haven't seen it, Accelerate Michigan opened up for their competition. So you need to visit that site if you're interested in going for some of their major opportunities.
Major opportunities. Can you be a little more specific?
Yeah, they're planning on giving away over $500,000 in their competition.
Actually, grand prize is $500,000. First runner-up is $100,000. Second runner-up is $50,000. And then they have different categories that are eligible up to $10,000 each.
A man who has a better memory than I do, thank you.
I just looked at it today, that's what doesn't say whether it's actual cash or if it's convertible
Or could,
debt
yeah,
or whatever. But
or grants or whatever.
it's better than nothing.
The numbers are good though.
All right.
Ready? All right. Hi, I'm Ben Chutz. I'm presenting Birdhouse for Autism. Whoops. Birdhouse is a care management platform for families raising children with autism spectrum disorders. We started this project about a year and a half ago to address the need that we were experiencing in our own home of trying to coordinate our daughter's care, track her progress, and really figure out which therapies and interventions were working and which ones weren't. Now we can go to this. These are my girls, Brody and her mom, Danny. Brody's 8 now, and when I came into their lives, Brody was 4. And Danny was using a pretty low-tech system for managing all the different components of Brody's care. She made a table in Word with rows for supplements, therapies, space for notes for behavior, sleep, toileting, etc. And printed them out by the dozens, punched them into a binder, and filled them out every day. So that every week when a different therapist would come, they could review them together and really figure out where Brody was making progress, where she needed to be focusing on. And also within her own home of figuring things like, she's banging her head against the floor today. Maybe that's to do with being constipated. Why would she be constipated? Well, looking back through the records, she ate a piece of cake at a birthday party over the weekend. She's gluten, intolerant. So, kind of piecing together all these different pieces to come to some insights to help out. And I said to her, you're hip, you're tech savvy, why aren't you using a website, why aren't you using an app, why aren't you using something more than pencil and paper to do this? And she basically said, look man, I'm way ahead of the game as it is with Microsoft Word. Most parents just use pencil and paper. And so, upon recognizing the opportunity, we talked to other families to see how they were organizing their children's care, collecting survey responses, etc. The need was strong and ubiquitous. For some context here, a brief look at autism. Over 1 million families, 1.5 million families in the U.S. are caring for someone on the spectrum. That's 1 in 88 individuals and 1 in 50 school-aged children. And it's rising. A decade ago, it was 1 in 1,000. Autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder. It affects speech and language, communication, social interaction, sensory processing, behavior. There's no prenatal testing for it, there's no cure, and there's no proven method of treatment or intervention, which, as the saying goes, if you know one child with autism, you know one child with autism. It's really up to each parent to determine the best course of action for their child. And that's created a market for products and services valued at over $60 billion. Enter Birdhouse. Birdhouse is a collaborative, web and mobile-based autism management platform designed for parents to organize and share with their team all the important information related to their child's care, medications, therapies, searchable behavioral journal, and allow them to see correlations and patterns within the data so they can discover what's working and what needs to be changed. A parent can use Birdhouse to keep a historical log of every supplement, medication, vitamin, etc. their child has taken, how long they were on it, when they started it, and why they stopped it. They can keep a similar record of therapies and therapists that their child has worked with. Most of the time the parent spends on Birdhouse is doing what they're already doing with pencil and paper, but in a faster, more convenient, and standardized fashion. Logging activities like wake and sleep times, nutrition, therapies, moods, poop, meltdowns, etc., either from their desktop or iPhone. I always think it's fun to analogize technology products with one another, so think of Birdhouse as Mint.com meets Basecamp for your child's health and well-being. Near-term goals are to build in collaboration support so families can invite their care team into their Birdhouse, spouse, therapists, caregivers, teachers, etc. And to start taking the data being entered, and presenting it back to the parent in a meaningful fashion. which we refer to as predictive behavioral analytics. Kind of just flying through here. Predictive behavioral analytics, or actionable insights. So actionable insights is quantified child. For example, if I change the dosage on a medication, how might that affect sleep duration or mood? And expanding along those lines, what combination of therapy and intervention are other children who match my child's diagnosis thriving on? The whole idea is to give parents back the control they feel they lost when they received the diagnosis for their child. We were awarded the Start Garden investment earlier this summer. We're using it to establish partner programs, and we're using Southeast Michigan as our test market. I just want to finish up really quickly. We are raising a seed round right now. We're looking for development talent both on web and mobile. And regarding this, if you think that you might be interested but don't know much about autism, I wouldn't let that dissuade you. We didn't know about autism either until we knew about it. So I think that's just kind of the way it goes with everything. And that's it. Thank you very much. Yes.
Android or sticking exclusively with iPhone?
Out there?
Sorry.
We'll go front and back. Good. Go ahead. Back and then.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything like this out there?
There is and there isn't. So there are paper charts that you can get from working with specialists and take home and fill out weeks and months at a time. Give it back to the specialist. Have them figure out where things are working and where things aren't working. And that's extremely costly, $100 an hour, $200 an hour just to work with them, not to mention the weights. And then there are online resources for families with autism, which is really just kind of blanket information. So what we're doing is creating a new market for this personalized health, so that every parent has that personalized, relevant insight into their child and what to do. Yes?
The question was, are you going to consider Android or stick exclusively with iPhone for your mobile solution?
Absolutely, we consider Android. We've already been asked for it, but because there are so many apps right now for autism and specifically for children, and most of them happen to be on iOS, as a result, most families are on iOS, and most of our parents use iPhones. So we started with that, and then, yeah, absolutely. Yes?
My one concern is that some of the actionable data that you're giving back to parents could show correlative responses that aren't necessarily causal. And that by giving this information to parents, it could lead them to contradict their doctors and create conflict there. Is that something that you're looking into?
Yeah, we want to work with the parents or the child's doctor in relation to the parent as well. So yeah, I mean, there are definitely problems like that we need to figure out, and it's a valid concern and one that we have as well. But I think that looping the doctor into the conversation is really kind of the answer to that. Yeah.
What kind of business model are you looking at? Subscription, advertising, something else?
Yeah, combination of both. Subscription on the user end, and also on the data side, licensing that data to research teams, universities, to really kind of gain deeper insights into autism around the country and around the world. We've had a couple conversations with some larger autism organizations who've said, yeah, that type of data doesn't exist right now, and we'd love to get our hands on it if you had that. And we do. Yes?
Are you looking into, or is there likelihood of getting this handled by insurers and things like that?
Yeah, that too. Yep, we're talking about that right now. There's getting it registered as a medical device, getting it approved and all that. Yeah, we're looking at that. We're working with a team that's kind of helping us prepare to do that. Yeah.
I noticed like in some of the logging there, the design is so that you can share information among the different people interacting with the autistic child. Are there some tie-ins for educators, especially for mainstream kids maybe that are on the spectrum but are maybe more in the Asperger, where they're actually having to interact with other mainstream teachers so that they would know how to intervene in certain situations, and also understand that they're coming in one day and they've had a bad day or already or whatever to kind of, warn them for what's coming?
Yeah, and the way we would do that is building out a dashboard for, on the provider end, if you're a therapist or a teacher or a doctor, you'd have a different interface than the user or the parent would. And we have some teachers using it right now to manage kids in their own classroom. And so just kind of connecting them with building that collaboration support. You're right. Yeah. And along those lines, you mentioned Asperger's. We have families using this whose children don't have autism. And one of the first questions we get asked by parents of children with other diagnoses is, when can you make Birdhouse for my child's diagnosis? And so, yeah, we're looking into, once we establish the model for autism, replicating that and applying it to different, verticals. Yes.
Are there any legal ramifications of gathering this information and distributing it?
Right now, no. We're not running up against any HIPAA issues at the moment, but we're working with the legal team to, sort those out as they come up. Collaboration support opens up all kind of potential for problem, and we're making sure that, we have our documentation in place and our technology in place to handle that.
Cool. This is the last question we have time for. Thank you. If you have more questions, we'll be available afterwards.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Can you give that back to John?
Yeah.
He's in the back.
John.
While our next presenter is getting set up, I wanted to take some time to thank our sponsors. The Entrepreneurship Law Clinic here at U of M. As I understand it, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're a student startup, you can come to them with questions about legal advice, and I believe there's students at the law school that will sit down and answer those for you. And then also A2 Geeks, which is an organization here in Ann Arbor. It's a nonprofit. It helps sponsor events like this. There's also a few other events big events that they do, like Ignite and Mini Maker Fair. If you're interested in that, there's a calendar of events. You can sign up for the mailing list. It's a2geeks.org. Ready?
Yeah. Well, I'll try to sneak in before it starts the timer. I'd like to thank you all for coming out.
You have 1 second.
And thanks Zach and Kyle for giving me the opportunity to present and the rest of the A2Newtech team. My name is Jeff Plott, and I'm the chairman and CTO of flipsi. So reusable bottles are becoming increasingly popular as more and more people realize the health benefits of staying hydrated, reduced environmental impact, and also the cost savings over bottled water. So let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever had a reusable bottle that's difficult to clean? Yeah, so most of us. Personally, I hate trying to clean my bottles, and have even had to throw 2 of them out just because once they got mold in them, I was never sure if they were actually clean. Although these bottles come in many shapes and sizes, they all have one thing in common. They're a pain to clean. This is especially true if you like to put things besides just water inside, such as a protein shake, Gatorade, or smoothie. So this issue became apparent to me last year when my brother and I were running the 12-mile Tough Mudder race, and I was debating whether or not to put Gatorade in my bottle, and because I just did not want to clean it afterwards. So thinking about that now, that was basically insane, because if I didn't have the Gatorade, I would cramp up in the middle of like a muddy wilderness. But I hate cleaning them so much that I would even consider doing that. Along a similar vein, my brother Chris, who is a father of 2, used to dread cleaning his baby's bottles every day after picking them up from daycare. He hated trying to clean that stagnating milk from the bottles that his hand was too big to fit into. So sure, you can use a brush or a sponge to reach down into the bottle, but it's still difficult to get the stuff that's built up on the sides, and oftentimes the brushes are just as dirty as the bottle you try to clean. And you can try to stick your hand inside the bottle, but due to the geometries, this is oftentimes impossible. Others have even tried to solve this problem by making both the top and bottom able to unscrew, or even splitting it in half, but this still doesn't solve the issue. However, flipsi's solution does. To the left is a rendering of our newest prototype for our sport bottle, and the right is a video of me cleaning it. Should start. So instead of forcing my hand inside the bottle, all I have to do is simply flip it inside out.
Nice.
So even though it's extremely dirty, I can easily hand wash every part of it with just a little bit of soap and water. And then once I ensure that the entire inside of the bottle is clean, I simply flip it back and then reinsert it into the bottom cap. No frustration or brushes required. So some of the product features is, as you saw, it's ridiculously easy to clean, 100% food grade, BPA free components, microwavable, dishwasher safe, holds 22 ounces of liquid, and beyond just making the base easy to clean, we also went through on the cap and made sure there's no ridges for anything to get stuck in. It's also leak proof and very unique. So our current goal is to launch the Flipsi Sport bottle on Kickstarter within the next few months. Today we filed a full utility and provisional patent, set up the business, and also proved out the concept. We're currently working on finalizing the design, which will include even more customer development, and are in talks with plastic injection and silicone injection molding. Some of our future needs will be further investment for tooling, to further develop our sales and marketing strategy and promoting our Kickstarter campaign. After a successful launch on Kickstarter, we intend to continue to sell our sport bottle first through e-commerce and then through brick and mortar like REI and Target. But we don't intend Flipsi to just be a one-product company. We also have other products in the mix. So after a successful launch of our sport bottle, we intend on expanding this line to first baby bottles and then to many other things. As I mentioned before, my name is Jeff. I'm a recent U of M grad in engineering. My background experience is in plastics design, and I'm also the lead designer for a U of M anesthesia startup and several other projects. My brother and co-founder, Chris Plott, is also a U of M alum in mechanical and biomedical engineering. His background's in new product development, where he's spent the last 9 years taking several medical devices from concept all the way to commercialization. I'd also like to quickly mention Jason, who's one of my mentors, Brandon, who was a mentor way back when, and Wayne State University Patent Procurement Clinic, and the rest of the resources at U of M that made this possible. So thanks again for having me. I encourage everyone to check us out online. We've just been working on this stuff in the last few weeks, so stay with us as it's going to get updated quite regularly. And we're also looking for customer feedback, so if you're interested, don't hesitate to email me, and I'll keep you in the loop for future products if you're interested in testing it out and giving us your feedback. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have, and thanks again.
You don't have one under everybody's seat?
For 20 bucks he does.
How much will it be? We haven't set a firm price yet, but from just interviewing people, I think around the $15 to $20 price range seems typical or reasonable for everyone.
How's this thermal stability? Can you handle hot and cold?
Yeah, so silicone is actually really great. They even make bakeware out of it, so it can handle up to 400 F and then negative a ridiculous temp. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when my grandchildren would sleep over, we had these sleeves you put in a bottle that were, we bought 50 or 100 at a time, that basically looked the same. And being frugal or cheap, we would turn them inside out and wash them and use them again. How is this different?
So the main difference is this will be more durable, so you won't have to be frugal to keep reusing the plastic. And also the main difference is that these, the silicone part is able to just, it stands on its own. It's not a plastic bag that'll just collapse. And that's actually what the essence is in the patent, is it'll maintain the shape when it flips. and then even, after you flip it. So that's the difference, is the durability and reusability of it.
What's the estimated longevity of one of those? I mean, if it's going in the dishwasher or in the microwave?
I don't have any actual testing, but I don't anticipate it being... No, and I mean, these are just, this is what I made using a 3D printed mold, and it's got so many imperfections and it still hasn't broken after I don't know how many times I've flipped it. So, if you get an actual, injection mold with no imperfections, I don't see it breaking down.
What's the straw or what you're sipping through? Because that's what my kids like to do, is put milk in things, and it's always the straw, it's not the cup.
So currently, we just have a flip top lid, so it just pops open. Because we didn't want to have like a straw or something that, can get that stuck, but I've also got interest from people who still like the product, but they just want a straw anyways, and maybe they just replace the straw every once in a while. So that could be another thing that's in our future product development, just a different type of lid.
So manufacture or license it to somebody else? What do you plan on?
Our current plan is to, we'll partner with manufacturers. We're not going to buy all the machines ourselves.
No, but I mean like a major bottle manufacturer.
Yeah, our current plan is to not go the licensing route and actually run the business. That's what my brother and I would prefer to do. But maybe for certain things it's better to license, and other things it's better to keep in-house.
Do you have any plans to maybe sell the silicone sleeves separate from the thing that holds it? Because I anticipate that you could have almost like a razor and blades kind of scenario where you could sell the one set and then have a bunch of sort of backups that you could constantly swap out for if certain ones were dirty. Like you said, you can clean it really quickly, but also sometimes you just want a clean one, like you saw, like the baby bottle sitting in the soaking in the thing. You could, I guess, potentially just clean really thoroughly one bottle and then replace it, but maybe you have a bunch that could interchange out.
Yeah, we haven't thought into that in super detail, but it's definitely a route that we could take.
Time for one more question.
Are the holes in the side critical to the design, or I worry a little bit about it being hot liquid, like just grabbing it and it being flexible?
Yes, silicone, the thermal properties are very similar to plastic. So if you put boiling water in here.
Well, as far as a big squeeze ball on the side, I worry about I just grab the cup and I squeeze it.
And then it spurts out. Yeah, it's definitely a concern.
That's critical to design.
We would, the reason the design is there is partly because we don't want it to look like every other bottle on the market. And also, imagine that you have this just disgusting on the inside. You don't necessarily want to have to reach in the bottom and then pull it inside out. So we've designed this outer cage so that you first just push up on the bottom, and then you can grab it on the sides, and then it'll flip. So it's kind of, you can use it to flip, but you don't have to.
So while we're trying to remember what I was going to do, Roger's flipping a tape here. So these sessions are recorded, by the way. They're also streamed live. So if you don't happen to be here, you can go to, what is it? I don't remember the site. Ustream, A2Newtech.
It's on the A2Newtech Pages tab.
Okay.
All the previous A2Newtechs are available there, and the ones, most of them are videoed at the link.
Yeah, and so also if you missed anything from tonight, you can go back and watch them. One of the things we like to do, or if you want to do, like if you're presenting tonight, for example, you can go in and you can actually put a highlight in, and that way people can go and see, okay, well here's where this person started, and you can watch from there, which is pretty useful. announcement?
Yeah, community announcement. Hi guys, I'm Brian Kelly. I work for Duo Security, a strong authentication company based here in Ann Arbor. We're hiring for a bunch of positions, but one that we've been looking for that might be out here in this crowd is a technical support engineer. We have a small, very hands-on tech support team right now, and it's a pretty interesting place to work. I've been there for a little bit over a year, so if you're interested, stop down front, talk to me, or just go to jobs.duosecurity.com. Thanks.
Yeah, this is with the job section. I'm CTO at Membloom. It's a Michigan-based startup. We're innovating in the online storytelling space, and we're hiring a developer. We're looking for a front-end developer, web application developer with the appropriate technology stack. We run off on Heroku with jQuery, but HTML5 and SVG we're interested in. So
Okay, so since you seem to have a pattern here, this is the who's hiring section of our event here. So if you have a job opening for your startup, feel free to tell the name of your company, a couple sentences about them, the job title you're looking for, and then how to contact you, like a website or email.
John@membloom.com
would be great.
Yeah, hi, I'm Andrew Olson. I'm with a startup here in Ann Arbor called Advita. We're a bioinformatics company. We have just received a $2 million grant from the National Institutes of Health to develop advanced software for genetic analytics, and we're looking for a couple Java developers for our operation, and would love to talk to anybody that happens to be in that area or know somebody that might be in that area. You can contact me at advitabio.com or just see me after this.
Blake Nyquist, work at Liquid Web, a hosting company / cloud-ish infrastructure as a service company. We're looking for developers, system engineers, QA / testers. Talk to me afterwards. I finally remembered to bring business cards.
Anybody else?
Well, just say, anybody has an announcement at events or hiring, put a comment in on the website on this event, this particular event.
Oh yeah, that's a really good idea.
So after it's over, you have to go to past events and click on it to open it up.
I'll just mention it again. CareEvolution, Health Information Exchange, looking for software people. Please come talk to me.
All right.
Hi everyone, my name is Omar Hashwi. I'm the founder and CEO of Stamp.fm. So there are two major problems in the music industry. One is the difficulty of artists to promote their music to their fans, and then two, the difficulty of fans to discover new music. And so why does the problem exist? That exists because there's a whole pool of raw and untapped talent, musical talent. And then there's technology that has been underutilized in the music industry. There's Facebook, there's YouTube, but nothing's really targeted towards the music industry. So what we do is try to close that gap and fuse both the talent and technology. And so what exactly do we do? StampFM discovers the best up-and-coming artists through an online music tournament. And this is great for artists because they're able to discover, they're able to promote their music throughout the process, and for fans to discover new music. And so I want to walk you through kind of the process because it's more than just an online music tournament. In the beginning, everybody, whether you're a fan or artist, you create a profile. And then artists upload songs to their profile. And fans just view and browse people's profiles, their music. And then one song is chosen by the artist to submit to the tournament. That song goes through 2 rounds. One is the elimination, and then the other one is the finals. For the elimination, 2 videos are shown right next to each other. And these are 2 semi-random videos that are put onto the screen. So maybe you're asking, there's 1,000 videos on this site. Do you watch every single video and then vote for your favorite video? No, you don't. In this case, all you do is watch 2 videos and vote for the best one out of the 2, so it's more of a comparison. And if this happens enough times, then the one with the most votes goes up. The one with the ones that don't have as many votes go down, and that way you're allowed to determine who's the best artist, the best rapper in Michigan, the best rapper in the United States. So it could be per city, per state, or the entire United States. And so for the winners of each genre, the song is automatically inputted to every single user's favorites. So they all get the song that won the tournament. So that way, that's how the song is promoted to all the users. And another thing is that StaffCom will help organize a concert for the winner. And I'll talk a little bit about that after. I can talk about that now, actually. So let's say you're an artist and you're one of the winners. You say, I want to have a concert. And so we tell you where the majority of your voters are coming from. So if the majority are coming from Detroit, we say, no, you should throw a concert in Detroit because most of your voters came from there. And then we tell them, if you're able to get 200 artists or 100 artists, whatever the number is for the venue, then the concert's a go. And if you're able to get 200 fans to pledge to buy a ticket, then the concert is a go. If you're unable to get that many people to pledge, then you decrease the number to maybe 100. And as long as fans pledge to buy, once we have enough people pledging, it's kind of like Kickstarter, then the concert's a go. So that's one thing that's very unique for the artists who win. And so we've had one tournament so far, and it's been right here in Ann Arbor. We only accepted 16 artists to start off. And we've had 10,000 site visits in 7 days and 23,000 page visits. And this is only for 16 Ann Arbor artists. Currently, we're having the Michigan tournament, which is 1 month long. If you're an artist from anywhere in Michigan, you're able to submit a song. And then we have the elimination algorithm, choose who goes up and who goes down. And we're expecting over 100 artists, 150,000 site visits, 600,000 page visits. And for the national tournament, we're expecting a lot more. And as the site grows, as artists become aware of Stamp.fm, then these numbers will obviously increase. And it's very expandable to for cities, for states, countries. There's nothing more than countries. Planets, galaxies. So the revenue streams, how do we make money? So first of all, I'm an artist myself, I'm a DJ. So really I just want to create a product that people will use that helps both fans and artists. But this is a business, so we will be making money. We're currently advertising on our site. So we have a few advertisers there. We're asking for corporate sponsors to sponsor the entire tournament, like Coca-Cola, maybe how they sponsor American Idol. Maybe we'll get Pepsi to sponsor us. And then we also get a percentage of the ticket sales. In the long term, we want to streamline the artist management. So instead of having, instead of having a manager, an agent, most of this will take place on our website and merchandise. Lastly, this is our team. We have 6 full-time hackers, 6 full-time hustlers, and we're all students. We all either play music, love music, or minoring, majoring in music, and we really want this to succeed. And lastly, this is my contact information. Please like us on Facebook and Twitter. And if anybody wants to talk, please shoot me an email, and I'll be more than happy to speak. Thank you. For the hard part. Yeah.
Question, how are you able to ensure that the votes are unique?
So everybody has to create a profile. So when you create a profile, you either log in with Facebook, and usually you only have one Facebook account, or you can create multiple accounts. That's the way to cheat the system, but even if you create like 100 Facebooks or 100 login accounts, it's only 100 votes, because at the end of the day, we're going to have thousands of votes. For the Ann Arbor tournament, like each individual had about like 1,000 votes themselves. And each video is seen the exact same amount of time, so people are sometimes asking like, what if it's, is this like a popularity contest? And our answer is no, because you'll be able to bring your fans to the site, but they'll only be able to vote for you if they watch like 5 other videos and vote for 5 other people. And every video is seen the exact same amount of times on our site, so everybody has an equal chance of winning, whether they're just starting off or maybe they have a manager or something small. So many options.
Do you find that the style of music, the style is if I've got polka on one hand and a DJ on the other, side by side, does your algorithm try and put like music side by side? I mean, I'm a great polka fan, so I'm not going to go with DJ. But you get the idea, right? I mean, it's a widely different genre. How do you have a good voting experience?
Yeah, so for Ann Arbor, we jumbled the 16 all together. We said any artists that are interested, please, participate. But for the Michigan tournament, we asked, what's your genre? And so we have 10 different genres, and the fan chooses which genre they want to, vote in. So it's very genre specific. So what we're trying to do is crown the best, rapper in Michigan or in the U.S. Underground rap.
Or some other genre.
Yeah, some other genre.
It's not just rap.
Yeah, I don't rap, so wouldn't say rap. Yeah.
Have to be original songs, or is there some mechanism for dealing with people doing cover tunes?
So I guess according to the law, it can be a cover song because it's other people's songs. But unless we're asked to take it down, then they'll be allowed.
Have you checked out other competitor or other on the market research side? Have you checked if there's anyone? I know because in Detroit they have something like Music Mogul. Have you looked into them? There could be some collaboration that you guys could do because they're doing the same thing in regards to competition.
I'm not familiar with Music Mogul, but our close competitor that I'm familiar with is the X Factor or American Idol. But that's not really based too much on talent, but it's based on their story, where they came from and all the drama that's involved. So that I wouldn't say that I found a very close competitor. Maybe Music Mogul is one. Right now we're focusing on creating a great product and maybe collaborate with them as well.
Yeah. Let's say you're kind of successful, you get noticed, and then a site like Reverb notices this and say, oh, well, we can just add that feature, and we already have a lot of people on our website. Is there a way you can compete against that?
Yeah, so we have a algorithm that chooses the 2 videos that they show to you. So it's not just any randomly selected video. Kind of is, kind of isn't, but we have a proprietary algorithm that if they want to try to create, they can.
Can a competitor decide I'm going to play 2 videos next to each other and have people choose?
Excuse me?
Why can't a competitor do that?
We do it in a different way. So the way it works is, at first all the videos are put on the screen. All the videos are randomly put. 2 videos are random. But then after a while, you only start showing the videos that are similar to each other, next to each other. So, it keeps going up and down, up and down. It's very hard for me to explain, but it's possible somebody can try to do the same thing that we do, but we're not really worried about that.
So what's your traction on this? You had a contest for 7 days, right?
Yeah.
You got 116 people visiting, 116 visits, right?
No, we had about 10,000 unique visitors, and then 23,000 page visits.
Okay, I saw
and that's only for
23,000
16
page
artists.
visits. Of those page visits, how many are unique? How many people are you really hitting or working with?
It's about 10, there's 10,000 unique visitors.
We have to create profiles, so it's 10,000 profiles.
No, originally there weren't profiles. We just created profiles for the Michigan tournament. Yes, this is a new feature that we created. Yeah.
From a musician point of view, do you have, if someone really likes your music, can they then click to a link of your CD? I mean, and also, I'm pre-MTV days. I think of music as just the music you hear on the radio, not a video. If someone only had the music, would that be an option of being able to compete?
Yeah, that will be an option. We want to see somebody with talent, but we also want the fans to see who is actually performing. So we recommend a video, but if they put an MP3, that's fine. It'll just show like a blank screen.
Okay, that's all the time for questions we have. But thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just just to make sure, do we have any more community announcements that we didn't get in before? Another one?
Yeah, I don't know how many people knowing about gleq.org, okay, which they try and keep track of all the things that are happening across the state. You want to go there because they've been an announcement within the last week of 2 competitions for women entrepreneurs only. I know there aren't too many women here, but probably most of you know women who are entrepreneurs. And so encourage you to take a look at gleq.org and check that out. They're by 2 different organizations. One of them is Google, who is sponsoring Women 2.0 in Detroit.
Yeah, my name's, I'm sorry.
Well, speaking of women, there's MCWT, Michigan Council of Women in Technology. So there is a women's IT group. It's more Ferndale, Southfield than Ann Arbor. But since AWC went away, we got to go somewhere else.
Yeah, my name's Tim Nagel, and I just recently started up a small recycle business, and I specialize in recycling computer parts. So if any of you are interested in clearing out a corner in your basement or something of used computer parts, I got some business cards down here. The name of the company is A1 Recycle.
One thing I forgot to mention is that if you know any artists, if you can direct them to the site, we'd really appreciate it. We're trying to get as many artists as possible. Thank you.
All right, I want to thank Zach Steinler for organizing this event. I did not get these wonderful speakers to come here, so I want to thank him. Also, Roger Rayle for videoing tonight's event. And that's it. Thanks for coming. We'll be here for about 20 minutes, and then we'll head over to Pizza House.
Oh, yeah.
More Dominic's.